Hi, welcome to my talk about the books I have out there. This video, I'll go through the first thing I released, which is Freeport Nights, The Racer. You can find that on Smashwords. I'll have the link around here somewhere. It's also on Barnes& and Noble, Kobe, and various others. So, the Freeport Nights thing was actually a series of flash fictions I wrote a long time ago, back when Facebook had notes. I was trying to flesh out a world for an MMO that eventually never got developed, but and that took a while before I just walked away from it. But the IP is mine, so made use of it. But so what I would do was basically I wrote kind of the first part and I put it up and just said any questions, and people asked questions. So then I moved on and did like literally go home every night, heavy metal on the headphones, decent sized cup of coffee, and I'd rattle out another one, and straight flash, no edit, none of that. So some of it. Before I put it out, I went back and proofread uh, a lot. But so things like names of characters came from people who commented, and various things that went on um, came from that. So I kind of went towards. I hadn't put anything out. I'm like mid 40s, and I write stuff and I write flash fiction a lot. Um, it's kind of like it's just slightly neurodivergent, so my head goes off on a tangent, and I just follow that tangent for a while to see where it goes because sometimes it's interesting. But I went right. I'm going to actually start publishing stuff and putting things out there because you can't make money as an author unless you're selling your books. So Freeport Nights, it's pay as you want and all these things because of that. Because I basically went, well, here's one that's already done, and I've gone back over and edited it, and I shall put that together and figure out how the self-publishing thing works, because you can give me all the YouTube videos, you can sit with me, but it's not going to sink in here unless I've done it myself a couple of times. So, what's it about? The notion of the Freeport Worlds is it's a galaxy. It's divided into 8 states, and each state, bar the eighth, it represents a different type of human government. So basically, each one is run by a dragon, headed by a dragon, but they're basically experimenting with the humans to see what the best type of government there is, in hopes they'll arrive at a final answer, and then all the humans will stop killing each other, which of course resulted in all the humans trying to kill each other. And the dragon's kind of getting in on it too because of the various theocracies and and democracies and political theories they were trying to espouse. So the eighth was basically going to be the judge of that, and the eighth sector, which is kind of the center of the galaxy, have gone for a kind of round thing. I haven't put a map of it, but basically it's roundy galaxy with these guys at the center. Um, the eighth is the most kind of secretive one, um, to a degree, but they have free ports that kind of intersect the various territories. So you can go there. They're all neutral territory. Anybody from any state can go there, even ones that are at war. They all have separate docking stations. So these free ports are huge, like Jupiter-sized habitable places. Um, and within that, there are three kind of branches of humanity. So there's like people who are in lighter gravity who are obviously taller, and people from heavy gravity who are like shorter, and then kind of standardish humans depending on where they came from. Um, so all of these people kind of intermingle on the different free ports of different cultures. So this one is on a free port that kind of prizes racing and car racing and stuff like that as a cultural thing. So the way you can get out of the wars from whatever state is you could become a citizen of a free port. And if you became a citizen of all the free ports, then any offspring you had, if you had any, would be qualified then to move on to become a citizen of the planetary um, part of the eighth, which nobody from the outside ever gets into. They're advanced. They have the benefit of trading with everybody, so they kind of have access to everybody's kind of technologies and gizmos. But they're a neutral party. So on the free ports themselves, all sorts of things happen. And basically, it's R and R for troops, so on and so forth. So all the entertainments you would expect. I have a whole thing in there about the time differentials and all of that, because you can be as advanced as you want. You can't stop time. Or if you can, in a very limited fashion, and probably in the galaxy. That's a whole other thing. Anyway, so the central character of this is a guy who was fighting in the wars, got involved in racing on Freeport when he was off duty, and got an athletic exemption to stay on. And every time he raced and won, he got a certain amount of points. These are citizenship points. You get 100 points, you can become a citizen of the Freeport because you've contributed greatly to the culture or the general well-being of the Freeport. There's a couple of different ways of doing it, business and so on and so forth, but that's the way he went. Two types of racing on the port. One type is your standard normal racing. Now they're basically racing giant rockets around like an 8 mile long track. No, it's 22 mile long track that just, and obstacles and stuff appear. So even standard racing is a bit different to what we would consider it. And then there's lethal racing, which is the same thing, same tracks with obstacles springing up and all of that as they fly around. But every car also has guns or missile launchers or flamethrower, whatever weapon, very Carmageddon kind of thing. So the plot of Freeport Nights is this guy's like nearly there. He's 2 points off. You get 1 point for winning a standard race. You get 2 points for winning a lethal race. He gets the recall. His only option is to enter into a lethal race to try and get the last 2 points he needs, so he doesn't get recalled and have to go back to war. And in the background of the Freeport, there's a whole lot of political things going on. There are different factions at work, and they kind of had plans based around the celebration of him becoming a citizen. So that plan's changed, so their plans have changed, so there's a whole rush of things happening. So on that one night, at that one race, there's a massive shift within the Freeport Society. How that comes about and all that is in there. Now, I'm making it sound like it's really well crafted, but that's the idea of what's in there. It's still a novella. I haven't come back to it, that Freeport or even the Dragon States as a whole idea, because of kind of bitterness over the MMO collapsing in general. But I may revisit it at some point in the future, but I have other books coming out and other things that I've been doing, and I'll get into the next video. Freeport Nights, the racer, is available on Smashwords, and I will hopefully have some links down here. The next one I'll talk about is the results of an interactive fiction thing I ran called Flintwalker, and that'll be the next video in this book series. Be well, be safe.